raison d'etre is to help listeners be inspired by finding amazing people to curate the music they're listening to. So we got fed up with a world where, you know, algorithms were replacing humans, and we felt like actually there's nothing better than connecting with a fellow music enthusiast and discovering music through them. So yeah, you know, music and streaming is at the heart of what we do as a business. I've spent a lot of time over the last few years becoming a part-time legal expert in rights issues, but I like to talk less about the rights and more about the content and the creativity side of it, because that's what really excites us. So yeah, I'm also looking forward to a very interesting discussion.
If I can also ask you all to speak not too quickly, just because we have the translator.
Yeah, that's true. I do speak very quickly. I'm a Londoner, so that's kind of what happens.
Stay away from the fusion then.
Man in a hurry. And last but not least, we have from Ibiza. If I pronounce your name, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name.
Hi, my name is Ibai Cereijo. I'm coming from Spain, from Ibiza. I'm the founder of a public relation and digital strategy company called Boo Media. We started 2 years ago, and we act as counselors for clubs, for artists, for music labels, and we are specialized in electronic music. And we have conducted several studies lately analyzing the relation between electronic music brands like clubs, like festivals, artists, and the use of digital technologies and new media. And obviously streaming is a big part of the discussion at the moment, so I hope I can really add to the discussion.
Yeah, because the issue of streaming, getting into the meat of the topic, it suddenly seems that streaming is everywhere. People are discussing it. There's suddenly lots of businesses wanting to invest in it. There's all this stuff going on. It's been around for years in technical ways. I mean, Irfan, for you, for ID&T, how important from a business point of view is it for revenues? For you guys?
Well, it has always been a very important contribution to financial streams, but it starts with distributing content. I mean, in our company,
So who pays you for? So people pay you for the streaming?
No. We started off with, and I'm highlighting again, it's mainly about the festival broadcast and the sensation event broadcast. I'm not specifically talking about talent or music streaming, but it's more the content I'm coming from is an event experience, and it helped to get our brand awareness around the globe pretty rapidly and very efficiently. So it works greatly as a PR and marketing machine. People can indulge in whatever is coming or what they are anticipating.
And when did you start actually doing it? Was a decision we're going to?
Already 10 years ago,
10
I
years,
believe.
wow.
Yeah. We started off with first live broadcasts of Sensation, first for free, then behind a payment service that flunked because people on the internet don't want to pay for content, which is understandable because there's so many ways to obtain content, and so we invested heavily in it, or asked brand partners to invest in it, and it's going. Ultimately, I think it's going to be where the perception that everything is for free on the internet is slowly, moving and changing into the understanding of the consuming public that it can't come from nothing. So either it being third parties, brands who are going to be involved in it to facilitate it on the one hand, on the other hand the customer who is more willing and able to contribute in getting some payments. I think we're in a merging era of time where the whole media perception also selling of music from artists or publishers to consumers is just in a transition period, and it'll take some time, but it's going to level off. Again, like I said, 10 years of being in streaming business or activity, so to say. We see a change, and it's a very positive change because people understand that that content has a value.
I mean, the value of the content. So you started off using it as a marketing tool, essentially, to build the brands. And now I want to bring Roger in the crowd. Roger was going to be on the panel, but we ran out of chairs or something. So we were talking before the other day about you were asked to sign a document for your artist Ica to do a streaming thing. And what happened? You had a 5-page contract. What was the? Do you want to?
Yes, exactly like that. So the promotional side of streaming is cool for an artist because you can reach a lot of more people. But on the side of the streaming, they send you a 5-page contract with all kinds of deals for perpetuity, so for forever. They own the content. They can use it whenever they want. So, for example, if the artist screws up the DJ set, it's in their hands and they can use it forever. And you're not only screwing up for the audience in front of you, but all over the world. Everybody's watching. This is one thing, and they can put that on the internet whenever. That's one thing. The other thing is for electronic producers, they want to test their new tracks, so they're gonna play it. And it's not good enough. They can improve the track, but it's already out there. So these are things you have to talk about with an artist. Like, hey, it's going to be streamed, so you cannot play your new tracks, or you cannot do it because it's not out there. The label does not accept you to play it already. So these are minor details from the artist's point of view. Why it's good, and sometimes it's bad.
So you were saying that if your artist performed one of his new tracks at a festival, and he signed this contract, the people doing the broadcast would own the rights to that track. Is that right?
A nice Ultra and Swedish House Mafia had this one big example. Maybe you remember. The management behind Swedish House Mafia was working on a new release, and it's going to be this track, it's going to be this track, and it was all streamed, and they all prepared it. And then one of the 3 guys grabbed the microphone and just decided to announce the other track. So this huge planning of this release was by streaming, turn the other way around. So those are the dangerous sides of streaming, live streaming, I think. But
okay, thanks for that. I'll ask you some more questions and during the thing. So, Nick, in non-lawyer language, you've got into the business. You're doing all these massive deals for venture capitalists and for people wanting to invest in streaming. What do these people want to get out of it? Presumably money. Where does the money come from in this? Is it a question of saying to Earthen, we're going to start demanding you pay us, or you sell the content, or how does it work, what you're doing?
Which is a great question, and I think that Irfan's point that we're almost in this kind of infancy stage where we're really at the beginning of trying to understand different models for streaming and how consumers are interested in different pieces of the equation. Essentially what happens, I think, early on is that let's say a platform company is trying to build, and when I say platform company, it could be any company, whether you're selling, rights to a festival or you're attempting to build your own content. The long and short of it, they're really trying to get their brand out there and kind of use the ability to move content and move media in a stream or in a download or whatever it might be. At the end of the day, they're just sort of saying, come back to my brand. My brand is a quality brand, like Nikhil. At the beginning, you may not make $1, and you'll have to figure out how to bring the content in, stream it, and really potentially not receive anything for it except the value of your brand being out there and people having a positive relationship with the brand. There are obviously other ways to make money, like there are subscription-based models where you could pay for a month. There's also the ad sales. You're selling, again, the value of your brand to Coca-Cola, Red Bull, somebody else, and having all this media on your site. And you're basically telling Coca-Cola and those folks, my brand imprint via this streaming model is large enough that will attract the people that you like to look at, Coca-Cola and Red Bull and so on, Fusion, whoever it might be. So there's different ways around it. Again, I think Irfan's point is brilliant, which is and even for me, every day I wake up and sort of go, wow, I never thought of that. I should have thought of that, but I never thought of that. It's really, it's almost like, you know, the meteorite hit the earth in deal world, in streaming and digital content. The dinosaurs are dead, that's for sure, but sort of what the evolution or the DNA of, you know, the future of digital transmissions and the deals around that, and you know, how that becomes a value proposition to the consumer, to the people who own the rights, to the platform owners, is, we'll see. It'll be a brave and, you know, sort of fabulous new world.
Okay, Nikhil, talking about you, because what struck me in the last year is we had Boiler Room here in the conference a couple of days ago, and Boiler Room has had this kind of tipping point success in the last 18 months or a year. And again, there's been many similar services in the past that haven't broken through. You're not very focused on live streaming, are you? As a Mixcloud model.
No, is this one working? That one back. Yeah. So we're a streaming platform, and as a business, we're very much a technology business. We've got a great team of developers and designers, and we built a product that's scaled, but it's very much focused on on-demand content. So we host millions and millions of DJ sets and radio shows, and try and build an experience that gives the listener personalization and amazing discovery and that kind of social aspect. So, to be honest with you, I don't think it's that important how the content is delivered. What matters ultimately is that you provide the listener or the consumer, or the audience, a great experience. So whether that's a linear broadcast, whether it's FM, AM, satellite, digital, analog, on-demand, live, I don't think it really matters. What we think about our Mixcloud is building an experience and a product that is constantly innovating and constantly bringing the listener a really amazing way to engage, to interact, to create conversations, to find
let me stop you, because you're a little bit. It's a little bit marketing talk that you're saying. It sounds a bit like you're having a marketing, like a bit of a marketing meeting, and I want to kind of cut a bit through it, because what strikes me about Mixcloud, I'm a happy Mixcloud user. I use Mixcloud. I post a radio show every single week, and I'm promoting it as much as I can. And one of the reasons I use it is because I was previously a happy SoundCloud user, and then SoundCloud started taking down my mixes because the copyright thing, so I didn't own the tracks to DJ mixes, and they're not doing it for everybody yet, but SoundCloud are doing this. You guys, what I like about you is that there's no danger of this. So how does it work how do you put together these deals? What is the way it works for you? So
yeah, from a business perspective, we're a licensed streaming service, so we have done deals with a whole bunch of different record labels and publishers all over the world, so that whenever you listen to something on Mixcloud, you can't download it. It's very much like Spotify, the business model of Spotify, where you have access to all of this amazing content, and you can stream it on your phone, on the laptop, and the artists get paid every time we stream the content. So ironically, it's kind of put us at a little bit of a disadvantage, because we have to play by the rules of the licenses we have, and so there's some restrictions on the service, and that's always the challenge when you're kind of, if you're Netflix competing with pirate download services, you have to. That's why I talked earlier about you accused me of using marketing language, but I was simply kind of
guiding you.
Yeah, no, sure, but that is kind of ultimately, I enjoy talking more about the product and the service and the experience than the kind of the ecosystem of rights and the legal side, which is just ultimately a kind of a hurdle we had to jump over in order to build this business. I don't see it as like a kind of a fun. It's not an interesting part of the discussion.
Oh, meow.
No, but trust me, I've been in panels like for years and years, and when you start talking about licensing, it turns into debates and like it's.
I wasn't planning on taking in that direction.
Yeah, I know. But, so I guess I try and avoid talking about licensing before it goes down that angle.
Okay, Irfan, you were going to add something.
Well, no, I got a question. Do you see yourself more as a curator than, a technical distributor? Because you're talking about licenses. I assume that these licenses where you're talking about are limited to distribution on internet, or am I wrong?
Yeah. It's IP, internet delivered. That's kind of everything.
So you can't go DAB or
I mean,
FM.
I don't think we
because that's what. Sorry, but that's what I find so strange, that a lot of digital platforms choose to only distribute on internet, whereas there is still a frequency up in the air, a digital distribution increasingly getting bigger. And well, I think that there is more interest in from the public to whatever they choose in channels or curator kind of things. That last part, the curator kind of thing, acting as a overall umbrella kind of institute over the DJs, events, and everything. That will be sort of more like a future sustainable way to go, instead of trying to get all your back-end licensing distribution rights on internet in place.
Well, the reason why we are excited by the internet and we are only focused on the internet is that there are no gatekeepers, there are no restrictions. If you're trying to broadcast on satellite, FM, DAB, someone owns the bandwidth. You have to get a license. You have to be regulated. There is only a certain number of program makers and artists and talent that can have a show. And our vision with Mixcloud was to really democratize the landscape, so anyone who has a perspective on music and has a great record collection can stick a show online and reach an audience. And so that means you've kind of got this this landscape where, like, wherever you are, you can find something that you're interested in. So that democratization piece is only able to happen on the internet. And I firmly believe that the internet really is going to be, we're moving into a world now where like access is much more freely available. I guess less so in a place like Rio de Janeiro, where you've got a massive population living in favelas and areas that aren't connected. But certainly where we're from in London and New York and Amsterdam, people are connected everywhere with smartphones, in the car, when they're in the gym now. So content is always available.
Okay.
If I might add to Nikhil's point, which is a great point, the ability to democratize media and content is kind of a fascinating thing, because, and I actually learned this yesterday, which is, here in Brazil, amazingly, they have the best connectivity in some of the places, better than London. I mean, you could sit in New York and not get AT&T service on 35th Street and 6th Avenue, but you could be up in a favela and you could pretty much watch, a boxing match on Netflix or something, because they have like brilliant stuff, and it's because they didn't have such fabulous structural infrastructure, but they have all this great connectivity. So it's sort of, it doesn't matter where you are in the world now, to your point, not only can you get it everywhere, get what you want everywhere, but I think the technology also allows for you to get what you want everywhere. So if you dig this sound, and you dig that sound, and you dig that sound, even within this really niche sort of music, you can get it as you want it. It's a formative feedback loop. So the thing that I hate about radio, I have a 6-year-old son, and if a song comes on the radio in the car, he's kind of like, "That was great, play it again." I'm like, "No, that's old shitty radio. It doesn't work like that." But he's 6, he doesn't know. He's just like, if I push something, I'll hear my song again. So I think that the ability for the technology to constantly have a discussion with you, no matter who you are and where you are in the world, gym, favela, 35th Street and 6th Avenue for me is kind of fascinating and a brilliant moment in time when we can all get whatever, for better or for worse. I'm sure when my kid is 10, he's going to be a pain in the ass because he doesn't know how to for media to tell him no. He just knows yes. It'll always say, "Sure, if you want a little bit more, I'll give you a little bit more of that thing."
Okay, I want to bring Ibai into the discussion. You're working with a club in Ibiza, Ushuaia, which is kind of the big new club in Ibiza, essentially, of the last few years that's opened up, and you're starting streaming the events this summer. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, I don't exactly work with Ushuaia. We are partners in several projects, and I have conducted projects for the group which owns Ushuaia, which is a hotel group. But yeah, obviously we have a close relation with them, and I know how they deal their stuff. So yeah, they're starting to live stream.
Ibiza has terrible internet connections, is that right?
Sorry?
Ibiza has a really bad internet connection, or certainly used to have. Is it?
No, I don't think so.
Is that right? Oh, I
no,
thought it used to be really bad.
That's changed, probably. Yeah, the connection is quite well. Ushuaia is the... Hi, better now?
Do all of you know Ushuaia, this club called Ushuaia? It's kind of a VIP, super huge 5-star club complex, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Ushuaia is the newest club on the island. It opened in 2011, and it's the new concept. It's the newest big thing in Ibiza. It's a daytime party. It closes at midnight, and it's open air. And they really have a lot of money, and they are bringing in a lot of mainstream talent. Last year, star was Avicii, and Harwell, for example, is said to have a residency at the club every week this year. So it's really a big thing. And they started in 2011. They haven't live streamed yet, but they are starting May. And obviously, I own a marketing company, so I'm not really good at analyzing this issue from the legal point of view. What I can add to the discussion is a marketing point of view of how effective it is live streaming for promotion. And I think it's a wonderful marketing tool. I think, I really think that electronic music must really conquer new audiences all the time if it wants to continue to develop and grow bigger and bigger. And I really think live streaming is an essential tool for that. You need to show what's going on your live events. Many people don't really know what's going on in clubs. For example, obviously I'm based in Ibiza, but I'm Spanish. I live in Ibiza, I work in Ibiza, but I'm not from Ibiza. I'm from the mainland Spain. And there's not a huge clubbing culture in mainland Spain. Obviously, like in any other place in the world, electronic music is growing bigger and bigger, but many people still doesn't know what's going on inside the club. The clubbing culture, the culture of electronic live events is not big yet. So live streaming is a way of showcasing what the magic, the emotion that happens in a live event.
Because Ibiza, I've been to Ibiza many, many times, and Ibiza, there's always this kind of cliche phrase of Ibiza. People say the magic of Ibiza, and to me the magic of Ibiza means going off on a mad, crazy tangent involving meeting, the girl of your dreams and having all sorts of adventures or whatever. And when I say adventures, I mean maybe adventures I don't want anyone to see when I'm back at home, whatever. So how much of a danger is it that the mystique in Clubland is going to be damaged by? I mean, for example, I'm getting a bit close to the edge here. But in Berlin, people don't let you film anywhere in any good club. The only clubs in Berlin that will film will be the worst clubs that no one goes to, apart from a few bankers, whatever. And not that many bankers in Berlin. I'm not looking at you, Nick. But what about this thing about it damaging the danger, the mystique of events? I mean, isn't there a magic in what goes on in a club staying in a club? Irfan, are you not worried about it?
No, I don't believe in such a danger. I mean, there is tons of comparisons which pop in my mind now. The #1 entertainment industry, which took over on internet, the real thing still beats whatever looking on a screen or hearing or whatever, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what I mean. So and the same goes for a club experience, meeting, exactly like you say, meeting people. There you are, behind your screen, looking at all these people having fun, listening to the beat. It's not that music you can only consume by ears, you can also feel it if everything is right. And not only that, there's all senses, it's a whole experience.
But if you
be in a club.
But if you talk to most DJs, they'll tell you honestly that the best parties are when people are basically, they're not all staring at the DJ, they're all dancing with each other.
So what's the danger then from streaming?
Isn't the danger that when you're making it into a visual spectacle, that you're going to enhance even more that everybody's just staring at the DJ, and then people are losing the interactive element of actually dancing and getting together with each other?
I think that'll only happen to bad DJs.
I went to watch Prince last week, twice actually. For those who are big fans of Prince, I'm really proud of that. And he makes a really, really big point. He's been doing this for years. He makes a very conscious point at the start of his show to get everyone to put their mobile phones down and to not take any photos and any videos, because we've all been to shows where people are just recording the entire, like,
It's a
10-minute sections.
It's a different ballgame.
And it's, you know, it's distracting to you as a fan behind that person as well. And it's kind of annoying. So
True.
it was amazing. Like, it was one of the best. I mean, this is also because Prince is just the best performer alive. But it was also an amazing concept because people were interacting with each other, with the stage, with the artist, not behind this camera. So actually, possibly having a professionally produced live stream on the stage with, you know, great media that's being created and shared is actually a good thing because it stops the consumers from being so obsessed with capturing their own bullshit, low quality,
True, but
low
that's-
bitrate media.
But that's a different. I mean, that's a different topic, right? Or am I misunderstanding? I mean,
Did they film it? Did they film it for posterity?
that's about captivating the moment or experiencing.
I think an important point to be made is that, you know, at 50,000 feet, not at the, let's say, 1,000 feet of you know, this electronic music and live DJ and all that sort of stuff, this is the issue of streaming that sort of makes it the hot issue right now, because in other segments like...
Bem-vindos a todos, muito obrigado por vir aqui no RMC2014. Eu vou falar em inglês, porque estamos a gravar, isto vai para outros sítios também.
Oh, wow.
An extra speaker.
Yeah. And translated. That's brilliant. The point is other industries like the movie industry and other sports industries are trying to grapple with this concept of, you know, how much do you give away? In this whole world, there's this concept of no one will buy the milk if the cow's for free, you know. So it's and this other concept of freemium, you know, sort of give a bit away and then have them come, you know, sort of to the motherland, if you will, of the live event. I think what's brilliant about electronic music is you'll never, ever, ever, the whole point for me of electronic music is that it's like this sort of beautiful moment between, you know, a DJ and all of these people. And, you know, that's the real stream, the stream between, you know, what's going on in their hearts and their souls over the music. You can't get that, you know, on your phone or online. So if you give a bit away and attract people, eBay is his point of pretty much attracting people from the mainland to come out to Ibiza to understand club culture and really appreciate club culture and all this sort of stuff. You know, streaming is a great way to kind of advertise or get your brand out there and then get people into the clubs or into the experience.
What about if you're, I mean, I want to bring in Simon to include something from you, because Amsterdam Dance Event, I'm a moderator for ADE, and every year we have a discussion about whether we're going to stream the panels. And we don't stream hardly any of the panels. I think we've done one or two. It's difficult for me to go into we, they, you, me, but certainly, yeah, for streaming, yeah, they're not as a music event, but streaming.
First of all, everyone joining us here.
Pardon? Who said that? What's going on? It's me.
This year we did a streaming. It wasn't live, but we had a Q&A with Hartwell and Tiesto, and it was like now like 90,000 views. So for us that's a lot. I mean, it's nothing compares to when Hartwell's doing anything anywhere. I mean, then you have millions of viewers. But that's the first thing that we did, and I think it's a good thing. But maybe later, not directly during the conference.
Because I understood the argument was that to keep the panels, if you like, as a closed thing for delegates, but they're not for public. So
no, and maybe in a few years it will be different, but that's our point of view right now. But another thing in Holland you see a lot now is the after movies of all kinds of festivals. And that's a thing, when it's really done well, it's amazing. I mean, everybody, when you went to an event and one day after, you see the after movie and everybody is, whoa, that was great, and everybody's enthusiastic. And I think that's a good thing. That's something different than live streaming. But you see it in Holland, like when there's an event, one day after, there's an after movie, and within 1 or 2 days, there are thousands of people who saw it. So I don't know if that's also maybe here already in America or somewhere else, but that's in Holland really a big thing now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. And sort of every platform, if you will, has to understand their consumer and how they like it. You know, so it's an amazing time. I mean, it really is in the ability for everyone to kind of understand how to best use their media to expand what they're trying to do. Simone makes a really good point, which I think we're all kind of getting to, is what's the tipping point, what's the balancing of giving a bit away, and then you're saying but you've got to come, you've got to be you've got to come for the the main panels and that sort of thing. So really attract people, but spread the brand out by way of using the technology to stream it out.
What are the implications for? I mean, again, the role of a DJ, the role of somebody being streamed. I mean, Prince is a fantastic performer, and he's always been known as a performer. Whereas DJs, again, traditionally were a lot of them were staying in the shadows. Then a lot of them are not the most glamorous of people, perhaps, or maybe some of the more veteran DJs might not fit into the pop star look, if you like. So, do you see a future, Irfan, where DJs are going to have to be performing with dancers, doing all the punching in the air, Jesus Christ poses? I mean, what do you see the implications for the role of the DJ of all this, basically being on streaming and being captured? As you said, if you make a mistake, it's going to be on video for the rest of the time. So what are the implications of this for performing?
I think at this moment, it doesn't really matter. I think when you're 18 years old and you're living somewhere where you've never seen Chester or anyone, you just want to see it. You see all the audience and everything, but maybe in a few years, when everybody's done it and everybody sees it, they expect more things maybe, yeah. But for now, I don't know.
I think there's also like a bigger theme here, which is not to do with streaming and capturing of live DJ music events, but actually just capturing our entire lives. We're living in a world where, like, you know, there is CCTV everywhere. There are, you know, companies creating cameras that live on your lapel and capture every moment of your waking life. So actually, like, you know, that's just the shift that we're moving towards as a world, as a society. And, you know, electronic music is only one part of that. People are going to make mistakes. People are pushing towards privacy. I think it's, you know, it's a kind of philosophical debate at the heart.
Do you think the battle's lost? Do you think it's just...
No, but it's not a battle. It's just a natural evolvement of the whole society.
I think it is a battle.
It's such a bullshit to think.
I think it is
the
a battle.
Prince thinking that, I mean, if it's from
you
a
think
perspective,
privacy is no value?
No, that's another discussion. I mean, if Prince wants to prevent people losing the intimate moment because they're more indulged with their phone instead of just getting into the moment, that I understand. But it is old school medieval thinking to think that in this world where indeed, like Nikhil says, everything is open and out there, every behavior, payment at Starbucks, what the fuck ever, is just out there. So yeah, forget about your privacy because it's gone. It is long gone.
I think
it is gone. So IP protection, licenses, trying to keep your first release, by a secretive to, and then be able to monetize it. It's a medieval thought.
But by your implications, by what you're saying, essentially we're going to live in a global police state.
We are already.
It's called America.
And
It's called America.
But I guess, look,
already.
The question is that good or a bad thing? And
to live in a police state, for me, that's the bad thing.
A state where technology becomes an enabler.
Controls everybody.
Where technology can become an enabler. I guess, look, we as humans have to be able to control the technology we create and use it for the betterment of society.
Too late.
Right? So you can be concerned and you can be a skeptic about how technology has created a world where we can't control our behavior, where the police are watching us, where Big Brother is controlling us. Or you can look at it as, you know,
an opportunity to make money.
An opportunity to share amazing content, amazing experiences, to communicate with people all over the world, to create moments. And that's what technology does.
But the one doesn't live without the other, I'm afraid. And I'm not in favor. Please don't get me wrong. I hate it to be controlled, to be followed, to be open and just public possession. But
so tell you where I'm coming from. Tell you why I'm disagreeing with your position. And
no, it's not a position. It's an observation. I mean, it's an observation. It's a realization. I mean, I'm not in.
Well, actually, I want to get into this on the topic because for me, it's about different cultural views, and I'm seeing this. I've been in Berlin for 6 years now. In Berlin, the culture in Berlin is about not letting cameras in clubs, not letting streaming,
fantastic,
not letting pictures.
But drop your mobile phone then. I mean, and really don't take it with you when entering a club
but what happens
or whatever.
But
people start to, I mean, within our company, I'm really seriously 8 years already trying to fight a battle that everybody just, like their jacket, pops out their telephone and leave it in a wardrobe because you're not there to fucking phone or look for your friends or share moments on Facebook. No, you're there. You bought a fucking freaking very expensive ticket to be completely indulged in whatever we have been thinking about for the last 18 months and just put it out there in 8 hours. And everybody's just like, where are you? Oh, look at this. You know, it's not that's not what we are in the entertainment business for. Well, from my perspective. And same goes for musicians, I presume.
If I can make a point, I mean, and I agree a lot with Irfan, but I saw this brilliant thing, and I got to sort of just get this out. And it's about, part of this is about what is art, you know, and how is this shit making different art. I saw one of the most brilliant things I've ever seen, which was essentially the sequence of events that sort of went down on the whole Pussy Riot thing in Sochi, which was, for me, it was brilliant in essentially they made this unbelievably unique piece of art, which is they went and they protested, right? So they were let out of jail. They came to the United States. They did some talk shows, and they went back to Sochi, and they sat in front of, you know, a big billboard that said Sochi 2014. What's his name? The guy over there.
Putin.
Putin presented all of this, gave this to you. It was so fabulous, and they protested there. And as many people know, they were beaten by these police, you know, secret police or whatever it was. But they had enough people filming this and immediately streaming it. And so I thought that was the end of the news cycle. I came here and I opened up my laptop, and before you know it, they took immediately from the stream the footage, made a video, and if you notice the song, there's other footage that was shot other times with the same guitar and the same ski masks and so on and so forth that they were wearing in the protest. And while they're being beaten, literally, you know, that's in the new video. So that's a new piece of artwork that is made, you know, in this moment in time. So it's kind of like I'm on 50 different sides of this because I'd never seen anything like that. That's the most brilliant piece of, you know, kind of integrated technology, streaming artwork.
That's an excellent point, actually. I think it's a great video as well.
So it's hard to, you know, I understand the I don't want to say the frustration, but it's a balancing act. It's sort of, you know, in the States, I'd never thought in my life that we would ever be where we are now with this whole issue of the NSA. I mean, we have, you know, the most liberal, the most cool, trippy, awesome president that there is. But I mean, the guy like authorized, you know, the government to use our phones. So it's kind of like there's a point in which, you know, and it's almost like what the consumer wants. In the States, we don't have government protection of anything. It's sort of let the buyer beware is essentially where you got to go. So it's like if you want a phone and you want to hang out with your phone and you want to text your friends, it also means the government is pretty much spying on your shit. I mean, like they know what you're wearing and all this sort of stuff. And it's I think, again, I can speak only for the States, you know, we got up and kind of went like, that's not okay. This is not okay. Like, yes, I want it everywhere. Yes, I want to watch my DJ when I want to watch him and so on and so forth. But this is now quickly become the government sort of using a whole bunch of laws to simply say, no, it is okay. And so now we're kind of where we are now, which is like a whole country going, no, no, no. I don't care how liberal and how cool you are. And, you know, this is not how societies work.
I want to move it a bit. I love this topic, but I want to move it back a bit more onto club culture and DJ culture and so on. All this streaming going on, what are the implications for DJs, performers, getting paid from this? Is it a case of Tiesto starting to demand fees to be streamed? Do you see that coming? Or is that the way the trend's going to go, that artists can monetize streaming or video performances? Does that enter your legal discussions at all, Nick? Or?
You know, it's sort of, for me, it's sort of a matter of what side of the deal you're on. But I think Irfan's point, again, without getting into the weeds of the legal and the licensing and all the boring shit, I mean, except if we want to beat up on big rights holders like Universal, like, I'll do that and let's stream it. But I think the long and short of it is, it's still a primordial, evolutionary kind of thing. We're still at a state where I think, you know, most artists will understand the concept that if you use the massive platform, you know, that these guys have, for instance, to put your brand, even as big as Tiesto is or Jogada or whoever it might be, if you're going to help push my brand out to that many people around the particularity of an event, like ADE or a festival, so on and so forth, that's a good thing, and they'll do that without, you know, without consideration, without a payment. But I think as the evolution goes, and as we get to a point where, you know, people go, okay, I understand that this costs money to put on this event, to put on this show, you know, they're going to want their share. I mean, no one wants to call an agent or a manager. you included, you know, because the minute you say, hey, we're going to stream this and it's going to be this great thing, and this is what I'm sort of going through right now with this whole Vice Media thing, because it very is much about kind of cultural personalities more than it is, say, about streaming a set of musical rights and media. But I think as soon as there's a real model for financial success, you know, the artist will be standing there with their hand out, just like everybody else.
I mean, the global thing, we talked about it before about, I'm based in Germany, and in Germany, it's almost impossible to see YouTube videos because Gamer block YouTube in Germany. Gamer also tried to take huge amounts of money off DJs last year. A very strange organisation, very dodgy history that goes back to the Nazi Party back in the 30s, amazingly enough.
Yeah,
but,
it's Nazi time again.
Yeah.
But I seriously don't think it'll take long in time that we all get a personalized IP number, just as we have a social security or bank account number, on which you will be charged upon what you consume via internet. I think it's inevitable. Because we're not talking about music, we're talking about portrait rights, about conversations, about... And either it goes on the path of just sharing knowledge equally and for free and wherever, or I think to solve this you need to go black or white. That's a personal. Black or white. Yeah. So either it being all accessible, all knowledge, had the basics of the fundament of the internet was that to just share information, knowledge, to get progression, to get the world a step ahead of where it was struggling with a development and a general sort of higher education on a global level, or you start to, like in Germany, go on Stasi time 60 years back in time and charge whatever you consume, and not by changing a phone, no, a personalized IP address and kaboom.
I mean, Nicole, are you dealing with Gamer? Do you have a how does it work for
we have lots of different licenses with different societies and different territories. So across Europe, we work through the UK societies without getting too complex and too technical about it. It's quite boring. But yeah, so we pay the rights for those different territories, not directly to Gamer. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a fascinating conversation. Just playing back to what you were saying earlier about the mobile phone in the live experience. You can tell that I'm a technology optimist, and I firmly believe that you can use the device to enhance the experience. We kind of live in this read-write culture. There's a guy called Larry Lessig who runs Creative Commons, and he talks about how the web used to be all about read-only. It was a broadcast medium, and you only consume. But now we live in a world that's read-write. So you take content from the web, you mash it up, you recreate, and you put it back up again. And so, as event producers, you guys who are sitting next door in the room, who are putting on amazing experiences, all of those experiences are opportunities for consumers to create, remix, and post and share, and that's amazing. And all of that stuff can then become, like the Pussy Riot example, can become new content, and then reshared and recreated. And the lower the barrier to entry goes, the better, and the less you have kind of challenges and barriers over rights, the better, because that allows people to be creative and to tell stories.
Is there any danger? Because what strikes me with, Boiler Room's the example of DJ, performing that's gone incredibly successful, incredibly quickly. What always strikes me is that watching a DJ play music on a mobile phone is, for me, a little bit boring. I just find it a little bit not. I mean, I would prefer actually to hear a mix, to hear it in a car or at the gym or something like that. Do you think there's a danger? There's a bubble in the streaming. Do you think there's any chance of that? I mean, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. What's your take, Irfan?
Well, I think, with all due respect, I think in this discussion, it's obvious that all the people in this panel, we are of a certain age. And if this panel, instead of the six of us, there were 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old people, the points of view will be completely different. Because you were saying that live entertainment is about living an experience and not chatting about it or taking photos to share with your friends. Well, I think that the so-called millennials, the youngest generation, they can't even conceive live entertainment and having fun without the possibility of sharing it.
I might need to. I can know what you're saying. I might need to be a little bit more explicit about that. Let's go in comparisons then, because that makes it easier. If you're going to a movie, I mean, it's the one time in your life maybe that in 90 minutes you'll just refrain from using your phone because you just indulged in the storytelling. Some of our events, like Sensation, is all about that, and Q-Dance and like Climax. You know, there is moments, and that's what Prince is, I think, aiming at. That you really, you know, want to just be very intimate. And if we are talking right now, and I'm checking my phone as well, I mean, doesn't matter what age you are. Besides from being in all kinds of social elements, in you know, paying attention towards each other. I know it's evaluating into a different mentality, and even they might be even more able to multitask, but it doesn't take away that. But it's maybe an old school convention that if you have energy and you want to point it out to somebody or to something, you will lose energy when it's going diverse. It's just mathematics. I mean, it doesn't have to do anything with age or new generations or whatever. It's just that captivating moment. And of course, I know, you know, with a festival, it's a different ball game. Of course, you need to have a good logistics in your Wi-Fi connections, and you'll need to be in touch with, because that's what we're used to, and that's what's necessary even. The only thing is that I sometimes think that it's a little too unclear what some moments are meant for. That's
an excellent point. Yeah, Nicole.
I agree. With age comes wisdom. So you have to respect if someone like Irfan or Prince are telling the kids to put their phones down.
Fuck you.
They should put their phones down. Only a few years between them.
I think it's a good idea. I'm curious. What if it happens? How do people react if you do that?
Well, you know, the same with again. There's so many various examples I can mention. When you go out to a restaurant and you are really, you know, you're, and this is a technical thing. You're, sorry,
I think it's really good.
Your
idea.
senses, no, but your senses, your ears, your eyes, your taste, but even your soul, they are linked to each other. So if you are having a conversation, or you are eating and feeding your mouth senses and your nose. A cigarette or a joint or perfume just disturbs it. It's just a technical thing, regardless of a generation or technical development or whatever.
I mean, one for Team Irfan in New York now. They are starting to. Starting to. You know, I mean, it's interesting because it's almost like cigarettes. You know, they started with cigarettes, and now there's certain restaurants who are pretty much saying, "Put your phone in the bucket," and it's about the experiential. You know, kind of moment.
Again, like I said, I'm not
where it's dark, pitch black. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
You're served by blind waiters because you enjoy the taste sensation more. And I mean, there's nothing better.
It's a free choice. It's a free choice.
When you're at a club and you close your eyes and you hear the music better. I mean, those experiences are amazing, right? I'd love to see a pitch black club. Well, actually, that's probably a different thing, isn't it?
Come to Trouw. We've got one. Trouw is Studio 80.
But the fact that we're having this conversation means that we've gotten to this point where, you know, it's probably we're not coming back from this point, right? We're not going to a point where the whole society's, you know, and quite frankly, to eBay's point is pretty much right. So we're of a certain age group. I mean, you know, the example of my kid who's 6 years old is the easy one. There's a million kids out there who just don't even understand how to not tape and record every living moment of their life and share it and modulate that craft or art into something that's different.
It's exactly that, because I asked my little nephew of 11 years old, did you know that this and this artist was in the charts on the radio? He said, radio? So,
yeah. What charts or ranking? Or
top 40, what's that?
Old school.
What's that? So we should like take care of, really think what they are looking at. So they go to YouTube, they go to whatever, it's streaming. So also the live events, they want to check it out. If it's not on the internet, you don't exist.
I think we have to do this panel again in 5 or 10 years and see what the story is then. I mean, I don't have a clue.
So I think technology is developing really fast. So probably somehow the codes of good manners are not catching up with such a changing world in terms of technology. Because many of the cases, many of the situations you're talking about, is not about if technology is good or bad. It's about, do we know how to live together as human beings using technology but not disturbing each other? So I'm like Nikhil. I'm an optimist. I really think that in the last 10 years, the development of technology has been amazing, and it will continue. But I really think that we will integrate more and more those technologies in our life, and we will be able to live without disturbing others. And I completely agree with Roger. I think the younger generations need content. They need digital content, and if you don't make your content available, it just doesn't exist.
Well, I would say with Roger, with all due respect, to use one of Nichol's phrases, but what for me is happening is that some brands or clubs wouldn't want your 11-year-old kid to know about them. So to use Berghain is a good example, that Berghain has hundreds of people that they turn away every week because it's too popular, and they don't want club tourists. And Berlin clubs now are restricting their listings information to stop club tourists coming. And I think this is a trend where people don't want as many people as possible.
It's a dead end. It's a dead end, because I don't want to come across as a techno pessimist. I'm a techno optimist, pretty much so. Only I think that these devices are very unhandy. I'm just waiting.
So it's a dead end. It's nurturing.
I'm just waiting. But you know, on the Glass, the Google Glass, I mean, the follow-up will be a lens. And how are you going to check me then or prevent me coming into the club or whatever and record and take with me whatever I want to? So, it is not that I'm against it. I'm just seeing that special moments are now being taken away by the desire to share everything on the planet which is available by a very unhandy device and time-consuming and too much controllable element in between. And like stated in the start at the start of this conversation, we're in a transition phases. I mean, that's very obvious. I mean, the new generation coming up, technology which is going just take off like a rocket. A distribution of, well, again, like I said, I think that the real elementary question of this whole topic is what you're going to do with protecting the things you think you have the exclusive right upon. I mean, if you create a track, you use a device, you use sounds which other people have made. So where's the borderline of just claiming that you are the basic principle and the owner of that IP? Like you mentioned, you nowadays we capture content, then twist it around, put it back. Where's the IP then? I mean, and it all started, of course, with the DJ being somebody who just played other people's records into now a DJ is perceived as a producer. Can somebody explain to me when that happened exactly and where that borderline was and what's the definition change and what makes that so special?
Well, and where does it end? I mean, because now we have the modulation, the ability. I mean, the Pussy Riott's a perfect example. I'll give you one more example. My 10-year-old daughter is now an expert on Elvis Presley, except, and this is amazing because she doesn't know shit about Elvis Presley. Okay, but when I go on her phone and whatever it is, she's basically taken these old Elvis Presley movies, and she's taken a Get-A track or whatever it is, and then she's kind of mashed it up. And she's like, dude, check out this guy Elvis Presley. And then he's got a mustache and a monkey hat and all this other.
You offer a contract then to before?
I was like, you know what?
It's
and I actually, my mom loved Elvis, and I actually hated him. But you know what? I'm like, you know what? That's better than that crap from 1950. She's made this thing, and then she sent it to a friend, and the friend added 2 things, and this one added 2 things. So now it's like. Yeah, I mean, I'm quitting my job soon because there's just no way to kind of at some point there's no, it's brilliant, on one hand. On the other hand, it's unmanageable to.
I think you guys have hit the nail on the head there in terms of bringing that back to the topic of this panel. Irfan, you're talking about capturing, if we move towards this world of Google Glass contact lenses, capturing becomes a commodity. And I feel like, streaming is just capturing, really. If you just stick a camera and you live stream it and you broadcast it, all that is capturing. And you see now this big shift in the web, and the apps and the services that people are really excited about are the ones that allow you to create and not capture. So, 15 seconds on Instagram, you actually have to think a little bit and you have to be creative. 140 character tweet, this kind of idea of constrained media, where you don't have to be a professional artist to be a creator, you can just be a creator. And that's what I think is going to be much more interesting when it comes to taking this live event experience and creating something new out of it rather than just capturing it.
Okay, we're almost out of time, so what I want to do... I want to ask the questions. Before I do that, can you answer me? Can you answer me yes or no to answer the topic of the panel? To stream or not to stream Earthen?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but
Yes or no? But okay. But
I think yes.
Okay.
Obviously yes, but
Any questions from the audience? To you, sir.
That goes without a microphone. Okay. One really simple thought, because I'm worried about this losing of magic moments kind of too. But if the conflict is between giving something away for free that you actually want to sell, and on the other hand want to distribute to a bigger crowd, what about recording, streaming an event until 4 o'clock in the morning, and if shit gets tense, you switch it off and tell people, if you want to know what happens afterwards, you buy a ticket and come by.
That's a good idea.
That's what John Digby does.
To maybe combine these two things, because both ways have something to it, So.
But it'll happen. We're humans, We evolve into, and when there's limitations, when there's possibilities, we will rise to the occasion and just, infrastructure. Yeah, of course, always.
Now, I've got a great story about that. That's a really interesting point. And John Digweed, I don't know if everyone knows John Digweed, but amazing techno artist. One of my friends is John Digweed's probably his biggest fan, and he's been going to see him for the last 15 years. And he saw him in the toilet once. He does these 6-hour sets, so he has to go to the toilet break. So he bumped into him.
That's not true. John Digweed never goes to the toilet.
He doesn't go to the toilet, yeah. So he bumped into him in the urinal and said, John, I've got to ask you a question. I hear your recordings, I hear the streams, I hear the compilations, I hear these capturing of your events after I've gone to the club night, but I never hear the last 2 hours. And the last 2 hours are when it just gets amazing. And I wait and I nurture those moments. Why does that happen? Why do I never find those things online? And John looked at him and smiled and said, so people like you keep coming back.
This is like giving the first joint away for free.
Yeah.
So, back once you got the book.
I want to know the but.
You want to know the what? Okay, the but.
yeah, I'm afraid I don't have a clear question, like a universal question answer. I don't have a one-way answer, like yes or no. I think it all depends. I think it's a really valuable marketing tool. I think it can help clubs, festivals, and artists reach new audiences. And I think you need to build a coherent digital strategy. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Spotify, you have YouTube, you have many options which can get you to an amazing audience worldwide. And I think streaming is just one of those tools. So obviously we have mentioned Berghain in Berlin. Berghain is keeping people from coming because they just want to have a very selected audience. And obviously it would be shocking if Berghain started to stream. But if you are a starting club or a starting festival, we are going more and more to a business model where if you want...
They're not in Berlin. They're not. The new clubs are not doing it.
Yeah.
They're not doing it now.
Yeah, but maybe there's... I think we talked about it the other day. I think there's a cultural clash. I mean, I come from Ibiza. I come from Spain. And I think I'm really influenced by somehow by the Mediterranean Latin point of view. And this point of view regarding streaming is, why not? What's the problem? Yeah, welcome. I mean, we need to show what's going on inside the club. We want everybody to know. But probably the culture you come from, I think the continental Anglo-Saxon culture is different. It's more protective of privacy. So I think there's a big issue about this cultural clash.
I want to ask you, you had a question.
We had hosted many famous DJs show, oh, I'm going to test some new set today, and I don't want this broadcasted. Because everybody has a smartphone today, iPhone, yes, and so on. They are filming, and the next day is on YouTube. So it's kind of bullshit. It's bullshit, because even he wants or don't want, that new material will be on the internet on the next day, or even on the same day, or same day with quite a quality difference. And that's nowadays, even on iPhone, the person is so close, or on backstage, for example, he will take.
Yeah, but the issue would be that if you signed a contract, you would be signing away the rights to the track, but you wouldn't do that with somebody from a mobile.
It's impossible to control this thing, because if someone on the backstage, it's.
We know what they do in Berghain is if you take a picture in Berghain, the clubbers will tell security and they'll get you thrown out. Well, Nick Hill's there going, it's just nice and dark in here.
I don't know. If someone is so closer to the DJ, the image has a camera.
We're almost out of time.
Yeah, just one comment and one quick question, which I want to relate to Nick. It's actually based on what he said. I'm quite sure that there may be several DJs who might consider that when they are, for example, allowing you to broadcast their sets or stream their sets live, that implies on an extra payment. I'm not sure, being Nick a lawyer, would that be your experience when negotiating these types of agreements? And the second, which is just a comment, it's mostly because, for example, here from us Brazilians, we hardly have access to many clubs or many venues outside Brazil. So for us, streaming would be even an opportunity to be able to not only live the experience, but mostly to have an idea of how is it like. So sometimes it's all can always be seen as a good marketing tool for you to show what you got inside your club or inside your event. But I want you to write this question to me based on what you're covering.
You know, the answer is, and again, without getting too much into the legal, the answer is, of course, if the platform is going to make money, as I said before, the artist or artist agent or artist manager is going to come and ask for a piece of that money. To a bit of your question, you know, if you ever sent a 2-page sentence that read something like, "Hi, this is my crap, don't use it," to Apple or YouTube or any one of those sort of larger streaming and or download sites, you could count to 10 and the content would be off. Now, it's not a perfect science, I agree. I mean, and it's also evolutionary. But for me, the legal aside, and to get to the answer to this question, I mean, it's not yes or no, it's just sort of when. You know, when does the festival think it's a brilliant idea that the value of the promotional piece is larger than getting paid for it or not getting paid for it? I mean, the Berlin thing is amazing to me in some way, shape, or form. And I think it helps to answer the question, though, which is that they've gotten to the point where they're so successful that they just want to turn people away. So they don't want to distribute the promotional aspect of you know, trumpeting their brand out there vis-a-vis streaming or any other digital distribution methodology. They just want to, now they want to kind of...
Culturally, it's seen as selling out, and they don't want to be seen as maximizing profits. This is not what the culture is about.
It's also storytelling.
Well, yes,
it's
I know,
also
I know,
marketing.
I know.
Come on,
Anti-
we're talking about it for fucking 50 minutes. Everybody want to go to Berghain. What's going on?
And they're going to and they'll stream this, and
And what they do is they have a record label. It's Oscar, is their label. They have a record label and they put out compilation CDs and they put out mixes. So they are creating content, and that content is...
You're right, it's anti-marketing, it's clever marketing, but...
Yeah. It's just they've obviously got a very specific opinion on what is valuable as content for them.
Because for me, because they're so successful that the gradient is shifted to pay me. You know, pay my record label, pay, you want to stream, you could buy it, you could download it, but you're going to pay me. If you're a new club or a new festival getting started and you really got to, you know, hit the street running, you'll probably give a lot more stuff away for free and stream it because you're on that side of the gradient. The value of getting your brand out there and promoting it and marketing it is far greater than, you know, essentially getting paid every moment. But that'll shift.
I think we need to stop because we're way over time. So thank you all very much for taking part. It's been a pleasure for me.
You're the best. You're invited to all my panels. No, it's It's a great
Don't you
discussion.
think one of the reasons why they became so successful is that
Are you on LinkedIn?